I love television. Very apparent if you didn't realize. I would probably rank television higher than video games in my liking of electronical devices and things. It's television, then video games, then probably manga, anime, because anime is in a weird spot between. And then there's, actual reading and human hygiene. But television is one of those things that, when you have good television, you know you have good television. You want to watch that show all the time. You can't wait for that second episode to come out. And that's what I want to talk about today. At least that's what I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to talk about two of my favorite television shows that I've been watching since day one. But then I got to thinking, well, this is the season finale of channel surfing. Don't worry, I'll be doing more. But I wanted to do something a little bit bigger than what I've been, doing. I want to talk about more than just two shows. 3? No. 4? No. How about the entire channel that the television shows are on? I took a step back and realized pretty much 90% of all the television I watch comes from the Sci-Fi Channel. I know it sounds a little weird, but it does. All the shows I really enjoy or really want to watch again and again come from the Sci-Fi Channel. Minus the made-for-TV movies, by the way. I know those are supposed to be bad, and they do it really well. It's like Ghost Sharks, or Sharknadoes, or Killer Crocodiles, or Sharktopus. Yeah, we know you're bad, and we love you for it. But I'm talking about the television, where the actual budget for the shows go. Why is it that I love watching Sci-Fi Channel so much and watching their television shows all the time? Well, I think it's because of concepts. I am a strong believer that concepts and well-thought-out plots and development and character stuff, but really at the core of it, you have to have a really unique and good concept. I feel like that is the reason why I go back to the Sci-Fi Channel all the time and watch their television shows, because their concepts kind of stem from other sci-fi stuff, but take it and spin it into a new way. Take Warehouse 13, for example. I love the show. I've been watching since day one. Ever since they changed their logo from sci-fi to sci-fi with Y's instead of actual sci-fi stuff. I've been watching Warehouse 13 since day one, because their concept of having objects from history or pop culture imbued with magical powers because they were objects from pop culture in history, they cause havoc or things that aren't supposed to. So they go out and get those items and put them in Warehouse 13, well, previous other warehouses, but story stuff happens. But they have these items in Warehouse 13, and it just gives you such a range of possibilities. The show mixes so many genres in with it. It has the sci-fi genre, a little bit of steampunk, a little bit of alt history. It really feeds my alt history need. It has so many really cool items from history. You got Walt Disney's paintbrush, which lets you draw living cartoons. How would you not love that? And then you also have the really bad stuff, which is really bad. Ugh. Another good show is Alphas. Alphas isn't a superhero show. It's humans with supernormal abilities that could be classified as superpowers. But they're humans in the sense, and dealing with these abnormal abilities mixes in a lot of character development, psychological stuff. That's actually really good. It's really apparent in Season 2. That is, if you really like the psychoanalytic kind of mind stuff, you will definitely enjoy Season 2. And Season 1 definitely tees up the ball really nicely with Season 1. If you watch Episode 1, you will understand what the show is. I guarantee you that. And the characters, if you do not like Gary, you are a cold-hearted son of a bitch. Okay? Gary is fantastic character. you will love Gary and all the other characters and their little flaws and their little powers. I've mentioned this show before, actually. Haven. I think in the Halloween episode, I mentioned Haven. It was based off of a Stephen King novel, Who Killed the Colorado Kid, I believe. It actually is not bad. It's a really good, gets a little under your skin kind of show. The Troubles deal with, real sci-fi mumbo-jumbo. And you got some good characters. The first couple seasons are good. I will say that. But the newer seasons that have been coming up are a little bit soap opera-y for my taste. But if you do like the show, you will enjoy the new seasons, I will say. But I do like how they've made The Troubles kind of, a little sci-fi, but also human connection. It mixes really well in a television sense, where from book to television, even though I haven't really read Who Killed Colorado Kid. I do love Stephen King, though. He's very high on top of the horror writer list. Fantastic. I think if I could have any abnormal powers, it would be its powers. Also Freddy, which, I don't know. I don't really want to be caught on fire, although I would be toasty warm. I do like the... Where am I going with this? I don't know. Ooh, but if I was it, then I'd have to wear a clown costume, and then I'd have to protect my nose. Spoilers. Yeah, screw that. I don't want to be it. It's a little... But Stephen King is a fantastic writer, and Carrie, that... I still want to watch the new remake of the movie. I really do. It's going to be fantastic. I really hope it's fantastic. Because movies deal a lot of damage. I don't like movies. I really don't like... I know I have good movies in mind, but I really don't like movies nowadays. I'm actually coming up with a commercial theory where, depending on how the movie commercial goes, I can deduce if they're just trying to amp up the actual extremeness of the movie, or they're actually going like, hey, this is a good movie. Or it's like, watch this! You want to go see this, because the rest of it isn't that good. I'm working on that. But I'm divulging a little too much into other stuff. There is a competitive television show that I love to watch. Face Off. Not the movie with that guy that played Skull Rider? Nicolas Cage! That's the word I'm looking for. The guy that was with Nicolas Cage. At least I think it was with Nicolas Cage. I could be completely wrong on that. Face Off. Either way. The Face Off I'm talking about now is a special effects makeup challenge competition, reality competition. The only other, it's one of the only other reality competitive shows I really like, other than So You Think You Can Dance. That one is phenomenal, and if you don't watch that, you don't understand how dance can be strangely cool to watch. But that's another show, and yes, I will make another show. Face Off is, like I said, a reality competition where special effects makeup is the highlight of it. And I love the show so much because it mixes something different. You have never seen a special effects makeup competition on television ever. I don't think I've ever seen one of those before. It's very new territory, and they do it especially well. Definitely watch it in HD. If you watch it in standard, you are missing out in so much. You see so much detail in HD. You will not regret the HD looking at stuff. The future of sci-fi also looks kind of good. In 2014, I believe, there's a show called Helix. I mentioned that also in the Halloween episode. I saw the newest commercial for that. It looks freaking good. It looks surprisingly good. It gives me a good Thing vibe. The Thing, if you are familiar with the horror movie. It's of the shape-shifting creature in the Arctic. They find it. It's actually a really good thing. The original one is really good. I don't know about any of the remakes, but I know the original one is fantastically scary and a little creepy kind of thing. But Helix actually kind of harks back to that. It's set in a Arctic research facility, and some sort of Genos project is going on where they're playing God, and there's a lot of melty black blood. I really like that. I surprisingly really like that. When in the commercial, when they open up the body bag, just tons of black blood comes pouring out. It's all sludgy and stuff. That kind of cinched it for me. I'm like, I want to watch that. I surprisingly want to watch that. Even though I'm not a horror person, I do understand how horror is done well. And I really want to see a good psychological horror, kind of, not as many jump scares, but I still want to watch it. It looks really good. So I recommend that. I want to see that. Out of everything, out of all the weird stuff that goes on the Sci-Fi Channel, I have to say, the #1 show, pretty much that I have on my top 5 list, this is probably #2, because #1 is never filled. Although Lost Girl is, like, there in #1. At the moment, it's #1, but there is technically no #1 on my top 10 list, because I'm still watching television. But Lost Girl is almost there. It is practically there. And if I die tomorrow, it will be on the #1 spot. Because Lost Girl is one of those shows where you watch the show and you want all other television shows to be like this. At least in my head. In my mind, this is almost the perfect show that I have been looking for. It's not perfect, but it's really close to what I really want to see in television nowadays. There was a written thing about what Lost Girl was, and I agree with it completely, or at least this part. It is a mix of 3 shows. It is a mix of Charmed, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and Xena. All of those shows mixed into this modern-aged fantasy show. It's pretty fucking awesome! It mixes so many genres. And I can even point out what is from what, okay? Charmed. The part that mixes Charmed in is the humanization of fairy tale and fae creatures. If you've seen Charmed, you know of that underworld under the surface of the real world kind of thing, where all sorts of fairies and mythical creatures are human in sense, and there's an underlying system that is very apparent in Lost Girl. You have the light and the dark fae, you have the clash between the two, and you have the human looking, but also they have supernatural and fairy-like powers, and it's fantastic. It really ups it too. It updates it to a modern day, and that is what I love about that part. Xena's part is the strong female role models. I cannot believe that there is a modern-day strong female role model nowadays. There hasn't been a really good one lately, but I would say Lost Girl is one. Bo and Kenzie. Oh my god, how can I describe the two? Bo is comfortable with her sexuality, and she... boom, right out of left field. No, you will understand this. Bo is comfortable with her sexuality because she is a succubus. Although she didn't know she was a succubus. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in the show. If you watch episode 1, you will understand completely. It is very chiseled out in stone what this show is on season 1, on episode 1. Season 1, too. She knows that she is independent. She doesn't want to be confined to either the light or the dark. That is why she is an independent force in between the two. Not much spoiler. Don't worry. Again, season 1. I keep saying season 1. Episode 1. Episode 1 is a fantastic one to start watching. Of course, that's where you always start watching. If you don't love fuck. Although, if you are definitely if you are a Game of Thrones fan, nothing will throw you off. Being that there is a mix of softcore porn in the mix. That's not the part that I really enjoy, though, although it is a plus. No, the part I love comes from the Buffy the Vampire Slayer bit. This is where the show kind of makes me giddy, okay? As you can tell, right? I'm kind of going over my words and tapping my foot vigorously on the floor. I really have to stop. I don't know if I'm making the camera shake. Why not? Where it takes Buffy the Vampire Slayer, it takes the story aspects and the kick-ass vigilante girls, because Kenzie is phenomenal. She is the epitome of the best sidekick character ever.
Okay, well, look, this isn't a joke, okay? Has it occurred to you that hanging out with a homicidal freak might not be the brightest move for you?
Has it occurred to you that I'm capable of making that decision for myself? Homicidal freak, God, you are so emo.
Excuse me?
Learn to enjoy your shit already. You can freaking control people by touch. And not in a creepy handjob way.
The show's plots really shine when Bo and Kenzie take on the roles of the private investigator stance. That is where the show really has its grasp. Where it takes the story is good. It really develops on what Bo is and what the Fae are and all the other characters in there. But I will say, Season 2 is a little jumbled. I will give them the benefit of the doubt, though, because they thought they were going to be canceled on Season 2. So they had to mix more than one season. They had to mix Season 2 and Season 3 into one season, which I think definitely gave them a downgrade. But Season 3, they picked right back up again with what Season 2 was all about, and it's really good. Although, they also don't do very good season finales. I don't know, there's something I miss in their season finales. There's something, I think they just jam a little too much into. I think that's what their problem is. If they can, like, thin out it, and then you kind of save a little bit for the first episode of the next season, I think they'll really cinch that season. But other than that, Lost Girl, oh my god, Lost Girl is probably the most fantastical show I have watched in a very, very long time, in my 10 years of memories of watching television. Because I'm like, what, 22 now? So 12? No, even more than that, 20 years. In my 22 years of watching television, I have found something that I just want more of. I want the concept of, hey, this is old school fantasy, but with a modern twist and a little bit of adultness. I really like that in a show. I will not say that the Sci-Fi Channel is the perfect channel out there. No. I do not like paranormal witness shows or those ghost hunter shows. I'm not a fan of those shows. I'm really not. They've been going on for too long, and although I think Ghost Mine is a little bit more reminiscent of Lost Tapes. I'm not sure about that. I should probably check that out, but I'm not really interested in doing that. But all the shows that I've talked about today on the Sci-Fi Channel are really good. I love the Sci-Fi Channel. I really do. I surprisingly do. And I'm looking for good shows with good concepts and good follow-through. I will say that the Sci-Fi Channel is not the only channel that I watch, though. I do watch the BBC for Doctor Who. Fantastic show. Oh my god, I cannot wait for November. David Tennant and Matt Smith mixing together. I'm about to nerdgasm. There are a lot of television shows out there. And I have not found all of them that I really like. Or even talked about on this show. Channel surfing, even though this is the season finale episode, I will bring back. This was a test run. I wanted to see how I would do, how you would enjoy it, and it's gotten a surprisingly good amount of views from what I usually get, which is 0, and 1 or 2. Look, I really love that you're watching my shows. I thank you for it. And I really hope that you tell your friends about channel surfing, even this show, and also channel surfing in real life. Changing the channel when you're bored. Just going to a random channel and watching a show, it's like, I've never heard of that show. I wonder what it's about. And you can have the greatest time of your life, or regret it entirely. That is the best part about channel surfing, by the way, where you're going flipping through the channels and it's like, what is that show? Nope! That nope moment is very, very hilarious. And it's like, I can't believe that's actually a show. And then it sticks in your mind and it's like, what was that show really about? But then look, it's a weird thing to go through. But I do want to talk about more shows down the line later. I want to do some more stuff. with this channel. I want to do a few more things. But channel surfing will be back. I have tons of other shows to talk about. I have game shows, reality shows, soap operas. Yes, I know some soap operas. Passions was fantastically weird. And I also have the black and white stuff to talk about. Oh, there's tons of stuff to talk about. Tons of stuff. So, please stay tuned for other stuff. Maybe next year I'll be delving back into this. I really hope you like, favorite, and subscribe to my channel. Definitely tell your friends, share this show with everyone you know that likes television and likes weird stuff. So, from me and my Kirby plushie doll that you saw in episode 1, and my other plushies that you don't know about, they'll make appearances in other vlogs. I will make sure of that. See you next time.